This process is the punishment. And the Supreme Court has already highlighted why it can't be this way. We had some good news this week. We had, well, I don't know if it's good news. I talked about it. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll let you see whether it was good news or not, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more. I was on Fox News earlier this week talking about the FEMA scandal, where it looks like FEMA was treating all Trump supporters as terrorists, and the ongoing lawfare against President Trump. So let's play that.
Let's take a deeper dive into the biggest legal question of the day with Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. Listen, I'm frustrated, I think, for the people there. It is an outrage that people would be skipped just because they had a sign supporting one candidate or another. I just can't believe that's actually happening. They have to answer questions for this, Tom. This is an outrage. Let me share this from the Washington Times. It's an op-ed from Anna Paulina Luna. It says this: families that should have received critical resources are still waiting for help. For those affected, this is not about politics, but survival. The idea that aid was withheld because of political affiliation is a slap in the face to every American who believes in fairness and equality under the law. What say you?
Well, you know, for years, the Biden administration, and even before then, have equated Trump support with terrorism. And the media has been pushing it, and you see it with the FBI, you see it with military training. And so it's no surprise that a major government agency like FEMA would incorporate that into its decisions on who to give aid to. And they had this narrative, oh, it's dangerous for Trump supporters to question FEMA, so therefore let's not have FEMA provide any aid and comfort to alleged Trump supporters in their time of dire need. I mean, these are emergency life or death situations. And it's clear based on the woman who was initially fired, the new whistleblower coming forward, and of course it makes sense that there was this agency-wide directive or understanding that Trump supporters are violent, so therefore let's not even offer them aid.
I'm still stunned, because at the end of the day, you have a responsibility to all Americans. They're taxpayers, too, whether you like who they voted for or not. I don't think this is the end of this story, Tom.
No,
Speaking of, I don't think this is the end of this story as well. Alvin Bragg wants to make President Trump wait for years before he decides whether or not to go through with the end of this particular case or sentencing. Let me share one of your great colleagues, Jonathan Turley's thoughts on it, and get your reaction on the other side.
You cannot have a local district attorney treat a sitting president like a freak on a leash, where he just is able to say that I will finish this work once you're out of office. It elevates the district attorney to a grotesque level.
A grotesque level, and my concern is, and has been for quite some time, and you and I have talked about this off camera, turnabout becomes fair play. And I don't want to see some DA in Texas, for example, saying about the border, well, I think we're going to run in another former president. This is, I think, a bridge too far, and yet this is where we are. Do you think this goes forward?
I hope not. I hope at least the federal courts intervene here.
Yeah.
Bragg is ignoring the immunity issue. The big issue is whether this case should exist at all, given the Supreme Court immunity ruling. And the idea that Bragg and Judge Merchan would hold over a sitting president's head the possibility of going to jail would obviously impair the presidency, and it's designed to intimidate him and harass him while he's president. So the fact that Alvin Bragg is still playing this game shows, and he's a politically connected guy, shows the Democrats are still committed to lawfare to harass President Trump. Right now, for instance, Jack Smith is busily typing away, misusing taxpayer resources to put out a smear report on Trump. Everything should stop. Everything in terms of the lawfare targeting Trump, because now it's impairing our national security and an incoming president.
And miraculously, a hacker suddenly ends up with a House report. Wonder how that all happened. There'll be more questions about that as well. Tom, great to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, and now Judge Merchan just issued a ruling. When did he issue it? Was it today? Is today the 22nd? Yeah. That he's going to delay the sentencing until really who knows when. Ordered that the joint application, this is the ruling just issued today, for a stay of sentencing is granted to the extent that the November 26th date is adjourned. And that means, as I understand it, if I can trust my lying eyes, that they are going to defer the sentencing until who knows when. And the court also granted President Trump's desire to file a motion to dismiss the charges outright based on a variety of reasons, the least of which is he can't be harassed as president by keeping this over his head for 4 years. But that's just no way to run a railroad. The whole process has been corrupted by Bragg, been corrupted by the judge who's conflicted, compromised, and shouldn't even be on the case. And the charges themselves are really fanciful and abusive on their face. On top of that, you've had significant evidence of collusion with the Biden administration in targeting Trump. So what's the holdup here in terms of just getting this done? Now the hope is, in terms of having this lawfare end, now the hope is probably from the Trump team is Merchan's giving himself some breathing room, and he's going to let the process play out, and hopefully the case ultimately will be ended by the court says it should have happened long ago. But in the meantime, he's coming in under this cloud. And he's trying to set up his national security team. He's trying to prepare to become president of the United States again. And we've got these, what I would call these outlaw prosecutors in New York harassing him still, and the judge is still dangling over his head the possibility that he will go to jail. I don't think Merchan should be given any time to consider this. The federal court should step in. I don't know what the president's lawyers are doing in this regard, but this process is the punishment. And the Supreme Court has already highlighted why it can't be this way. You can't allow these questions about presidential immunity just to, I mean, if that's the standard, he'll be in court every day while he's in president as as district attorneys or state attorney generals say, oh, he did this wrong and it's outside his purview as president, and therefore we want to litigate whether he's immune or not. He won't have time to be president, which of course is the point. So this is a big, in many ways a victory for Trump, but they're just gonna try to bleed him through this illicit court process.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.